Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. So did you get a lot of kicking ass in practice yesterday?
Did I get a lot of what?
A lot of butt kicking in practice yesterday?
A lot of butt kicking? I don't know. I thought when you're the head coach, you always win. That's kind of the cool thing. But no, it was good. It was good work. I thought the guys did a much better job of staying up. I was pleased with that. We wanted to have a physical practice, and I thought we did it. And some really good clips today to show the guys to teach off of.
How much does today's practice and Friday night can help some guys who are on the bubble or guys who are on the depth chart trying to move up?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, constant evaluation, as you know. I mean, there's position battles. There's guys posturing not for just making the team, but for starting jobs or backup jobs, reserves, things like that. I think the special teams is always going to be something fun to watch. That's where guys kind of, push themselves over the edge, if you will. But last night was very physical. I think tonight will be very physical. I think we are definitely we feed off the energy of the fans. It was great last night to have the fans there. And our guys definitely enjoyed being out there and having the noise and the support and all that stuff.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. You talked the other day about if you had good practices, some guys may not play, might not need to see them. Have you come to a conclusion of who you may not play on Friday night?
Yeah, still working through it. But again, if we practice again like we do, or like we did last night tonight, there might be a few less guys that play.
Jaydon Blue hadn't played the first two preseason games. Will he play, or do you need to see him out there on Friday?
Yeah, he looked good yesterday. He was on a little bit of a rep count yesterday. But, again, I think right now we're looking at it with limited limitations, and you should see him get some action, and we're excited to watch him play.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. After practice, to see Izaraku with Lael Collins and Tyler Smith as Booker. I assume, you're starting to smile over this. When you see that after practice, to see the guys working together, what does that make you think?
Brotherhood, respect, understanding that it's going to take all of us, and that, I love when the young guys, I'm going to talk about Tyler Smith, who was a young guy, still kind of a young guy, but now he's leaning into rookie. And Lyle has been amazing. He's putting his wisdom into guys. And what I love about that, again, you guys know me, I'm a little bit schmaltzy when it comes to this stuff, but we got the legends back today. And I think there's something like 35 legends going to be here today, some Hall of Famers. I hope those guys are leaning into some of our players. And it gets you excited. It warms your heart. But, again, there is an understanding from the team that, it's going to take everybody. And so to see those guys take time and invest in those other players to make them better, which coincidentally makes the team better, I think is what you want as a head coach.
What's your philosophy with captains? Do you have season-long guys, week to week? How will you go?
Yeah, the way we're going to do it, Todd, we're going to finalize it probably after final cuts. Is I'm more of you have seasonal guys, and then every game there'll be a captain as well, someone that's deserving, that's been, being a great teammate, performing well. But I do believe that you need to have captains throughout the season.
Why is that?
I just think that, again, that's the core of your leadership of your team. It's going to be voted on by the players. It's not going to be voted on by the coaches. They know who they want, speaking and representing them. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. And that's just where I feel it means something to me to have the C on your chest. If you've been voted that by your teammates, it's I think it's pretty cool to be recognized to say, hey, I was a captain in 2025 of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's pretty cool.
John Schroeder with The Athletic. If a younger player came up to you and asked you, Coach, what do I need to do in a preseason game? What are you looking for in the preseason games for me to have a chance to make this team? What would you tell them?
Well, it depends on the position, John. I mean, very, very different. The big thing you hear me say all the time is consistency. Can you take the things that we're doing in the meeting room to the practice field, and then from the practice field to the game field? I think that's really, really important. The other thing I would say, and they all attempt to do it, and you guys have been talking about cut downs for about 4 weeks, so I don't think you guys help. But don't read the numbers, man. Why would you read the numbers? This is a physical game, and don't get caught up in that. Well, hey, they might only keep 5 or 6 receivers, and I'm the 7th guy right now. Why would you do that? We haven't made any decisions yet. We haven't named any starters, and so just go play. Go play the game that you love to play, and if you play well and you do things consistently and you make plays and you show up on film, I think that you've done everything you can do to make this football team.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. Any injury updates on your two tight ends, Brevin Spann-Ford, and we saw Schoonmaker come off yesterday?
Yeah, Brev's doing better. Again, no timetable for his return. He's doing great, working his butt off. And Scooney got dinged a little bit, got a little concussion. I don't think it's anything significant, but he's in the protocol.
Back in 2023, Mike McCarthy had mentioned that Hunter Lipke's last preseason game put him on the roster. Is there any other guys you can think of during your time here who have done that?
No, I mean we have an idea, going into the season finale, guys we're excited to see, Nick. It's not okay, hey, this guy can do it. Some guys, they do jump off the film and you're like, okay, if you play the way Hunter did in that last preseason game, you're like, yeah, he's earned a right. Again, the bottom line is you want to earn a right. Like, none of these spots are going to be given. We're not giving a spot to a player because of this or that. They have to be earned, and I believe that that's the way it should be. And if you're going to follow your mantra and the central theme of your program, which is compete every day, then, again, it's not going to be just one preseason game. Hunter Lepke at the time was doing very, very well. I'm sure in that last game, I don't remember being quite honest with you, I don't remember what he did, but he was trending that way, to say the least, and it certainly obviously put him over the edge.
Tommy.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. You said before you left Oxnard, going into those last couple practices, that you wanted your guys focused, and with today being the last training camp practice, do you feel like they're still pretty locked in, even though they know that the end is kind of near? Gosh,
I hope so, Tommy. I mean, I think, go out there and perform in front of, a couple thousand fans and, their families. I think if they can't get excited for that, then we need to be looking into our selection process of the type of competitors they are. Again, there's a long way between now and final cuts. There's a lot of discussions that are going to be had. And to me, you get distracted if you focus on other things other than just playing football.
Size of the Athletic. Brian, back in your Seattle days, you talked about the rule of 53. I'm curious, with the rush attempts and pass completions, do you still hold firm to that philosophy, or how has it evolved over time, if it has at all?
Yeah, for those that don't know what it means, basically it's just an arbitrary number that kind of over time, the number you're trying to get is the number of rushing attempts and completions to add up to, we've moved it, sometimes it was 53, sometimes it was 55. I just think that, again, sometimes you're going to go into a game and you're going to have to throw it more than you wanted to because the run defense is either really good or they're committed to taking away the run. But usually when you come out of a game and you've hit that sweet number somewhere in that 55 range, I'll say, it usually means that you're having a balanced attack and you're moving the football, you're scoring points, you're probably owning the time of possession. And when you come under that, it usually is not good. It's one of the top determining factors of winning and losing offensively after turnovers. So, yeah, I do. I think, anytime you're a play caller or you're a quarterback, you need to understand that the power of a completion. Because when you throw a completion, there's not any guarantee that the guys are going to get the guy on the ground. We've all seen CD do amazing CD things when he's caught little slant routes and things like that. But if you throw an incompletion, then you're pretty sure that you're not going to have any positive yards.
Does that number change week to week for you, or over the course?
Not really. I mean, we kind of keep it the same for whatever the year is, how we're looking at it. I know with Sanchez, the number was a little bit higher. And again, as Mark got older, we balanced it out a little bit more. I mean, later in his rookie season, we even, going into the playoffs, we were a ground and pound. Rex's term, we were a ground and pound team early on, and then in the playoffs, he played great, and he learned. That if I throw completions, I get to stay out here, and it's kind of fun being out here, and I like playing quarterback when we play like this. So, not really. The number usually it's over time. It's a pretty historical number, and I'm sure we're not the only team that does it.
John, WFA. Brian, on Monday night, Troy Aikman said on the broadcast that the Cowboys, that Micah Parsons has leverage in this dispute because the Cowboys can't win without him. I won't ask you to agree or disagree with that, but to what degree does that statement have some truth? Well,
to me, this is a team game. I'm not going to sit here and say that any player is more important than any other player. I just started out the press conference saying that it's going to take all 53 guys, and that's why Tyler Smith's spending time with Tyler Booker. And Again, everybody has their thoughts and opinions and on the Micah situation, but to me, what's going to make us special and what's going to allow us to win a Super Bowl would be when we're all performing. And we all get that it takes 53 plus in this league because you have elevations and things that you can do on game day with your practice squad guys and stuff like that. But again, I think that the ultimate team game, that's the way I've always looked at it, and I don't see this situation any different.
Frustrated by having to answer questions about Micah over the past, it's been like 5-6 months, and that this has been ongoing and still?
No, honestly. I mean, I know you guys have to ask the questions, and I respect that and understand that. I think my tone hasn't changed. My answer hasn't really changed. I'm focused on the field. I'm focused on the guys that are working, and the business side of it's going to take care of itself. And but no, I mean, I could answer those questions all day long.
Does it make it harder to scheme a game plan, though, as a head coach without one of your top players?
No, because I think at the end of the day, we feel like Mike is going to be out there when we can line up against Philadelphia here in 15 days or whatever it is. And, so no, the answer is, yeah, I feel good about that, yeah.
With or without a contract extension?
I feel good that Mike is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, first year in the head coach's chair, so now you've got game management. What are your thoughts on the new overtime rules and that, kind of like the postseason, both teams are going to get a possession no matter what?
Yeah, I think it's going to be different. I think it's balanced the playing field. It makes it where you actually have a decision. I think you have to be mindful of, number one, you'll go in with a plan. We'll go in with a plan of what our plan would be if it goes into overtime, whether, if you win the toss, what do you want to do, take the ball or defer? I think it's going to be something that you're also watching during the course of the game. How's your defense playing? How you doing offensively? I do think, I'm big into believing about momentum and things like that. So let's just say, Garrett, that we go down the field and we score a touchdown to tie the game. If you win the coin toss, maybe you do take the ball. But there's an advantage when you get to have the last look and you're now in 4-down territory and things like that. So, it will be a weekly thing based on the opponent, where we're playing, what the conditions are, all that. But it's definitely good for football.
Go ahead.
Kathleen Ortiz with the Dallas Morning News. I was going to ask about Andrew Booth and how he's looking and how he's progressed over this preseason.
Yeah, had a great game last game. Played really, really well. I think when you watch him early on in the game, he was playing, given pretty good cushion. And then he was kind of getting his feel for things, but the interception was incredible. He's a guy that was playing great in the beginning of training camp. He got nicked up a little bit and missed some time, and so I think it took him a couple of days to get back. But I think you saw the guy that we think we're getting, and that's a very, very talented, second-round pick that, getting a chance to come here. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and working with David Overstreet and Andre Curtis has been great for him.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. What's your philosophy through the years been on playing QB1 in the preseason, and how did that philosophy sort of impact what you decided to do this year, your first year as a head coach?
Yeah, I think it's very different. I think, each situation is different. I think, when I look back in my early career when, we had a Sam Bradford or we had a Drew Brees, guys like that. A lot of times those guys were battling for positions. I remember Brees was going up against Flutie, so they had to play. Sam Bradford was a guy that we wanted to play a little bit just because we wanted to get him a little bit of experience. I think it's based on who the quarterback is. And so I've made it very clear. I think, Dak Prescott knows how to play quarterback, and he gets great reps every day against our defense, going back to OTAs and going into training camp and scrimmaging against the Rams. And that's why more and more teams are doing that. And I think at the end of the day, the philosophy is that Dak knows how to play quarterback. The most important thing for us is the timing and the rhythm and things that we're trying to do with our passing game, which you can get that done in practice without playing. And the bigger thing I'd say is when you play your quarterback, it affects everybody. Like if you play your quarterback, you're playing everybody because you're going to play your left tackle, you're going to play your left guard, you're going to play your starting receivers. So it impacts a lot of people. And again, I shared with you guys a story about LaDainian Tomlinson a couple weeks ago. He was going to play, but he was going to run a swing route towards the boundary, and he was just going to keep on going. So to me, that's one way to do it that my dad did, but we look at it a little different.
Okay. One more question on the Micah situation. Since you feel good about him playing, When do you need him on the practice field? Is there like a deadline when he needs to be back practicing with the team to manifest that feeling good about playing?
Yeah, again, Mike is another guy. Again, he takes great care of his body. Again, you'd like it sooner rather than later, but Mike is going to be prepared. Again, I go back to the thing with, each situation is different. And Micah knows his body as well as anybody. And the best thing of him being here, which you certainly know, Clarence, is that he has been able to do some of the walkthroughs. He has been able to be in the meetings. He understands some of the calls and the different packages and stuff that we're gonna use, and that's a huge advantage. And then obviously the physical side of it, usually the players are the experts with where their bodies are.
Just not doing the football things, run up and down the field with his teammates. That lends itself to soft tissue injuries when you haven't done that. And so are you comfortable that he's doing enough outside of practice that's not going to be an issue?
Yeah, I mean, the end of the day, you got to do change of direction. You have to do things. It's not just, getting on a treadmill. We don't do that. There has to be change of direction and things like that. But, yeah, certainly injuries are a part of the game. And, again, I have complete faith in our strength staff, our trainers, and all that stuff that they're doing the things that they need to do for him to go out and perform well. And, Mike is obviously a pretty good football player. So one thing he has not lost the ability to do is rush the passer and make plays.
How many different starting corner combinations would you say you have on the table for week one?
Jeez. Well, really, we don't have that many right now because we have to trim the roster. But like I keep saying, I do think that the evaluation process has been great, Nick, but, I do think we have some help on the way. And, again, is that week one? I don't know. I'm not going to put those timetables out there yet, but I do feel like, we've got plenty there to do what we have to do to win a football game, and that's all you're trying to do. Your focus after you play Atlanta and you make these final roster cuts is everything is all about Philadelphia and getting ready to play them. And whoever we have out there, I feel like we'll be able to put together a hell of a defensive plan with Flus and his staff to slow down a really, really good offense and a damn good football team in Philadelphia.
Does Micah's situation impact how you put your 53 together in terms of you can feel confident he's going to play, but do you need to go heavy at pass rusher early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, all those things will play into things. I mean, the health of the team plays a factor in that. What are you doing at quarterback? All those different things that there's so many moving parts, as you guys know. That's why really, once we play Atlanta and we get through the game, then those days become long because you're not only evaluating your roster and the decisions you want to make, you're evaluating 31 other teams and their roster because there's going to be some really, really good football players that are out there on the street. And I think that's the message to the guys that on our squad that don't make it is just because you don't make it here doesn't mean you don't have a bright future in this league. And so I think that, it becomes long hours and long nights and long discussions, but you love it, and you love it because you have a chance to improve your team. You have a chance to, if you make the right decisions, set yourself up for success. If you make the wrong decisions, you put yourself behind the eight ball a little bit. So I love this time of year, not for the pain and the stress that it puts on some of the players, but just for the competitive part of it.
So
You mentioned momentum before. How do you address that concept with the team in terms of, when things are going for you and you're riding it, how to keep that going, or when it's going against you, how do you try to snap out of it and get it going the other way?
Well, I think you need to understand it is an important part of the game to capitalize on momentum. We didn't do a very good job of it last game against Baltimore. We had a couple sudden changes that the defense created, and we didn't do much with them. So I think we talk about it all the time, the importance of taking that. We have a operation that we do, and the way we set it up is, the defense goes with Flus, and on offense, the offense gets around L-Dub, the quarterback comes with me, and we just talk through what the plan of attack is. It's a mindset, but there's also huge ebbs and flows in this game. And so whether you come out great or you come out slow, at some point this game, it's the National Football League, it's going to balance up. I mean, it's what the league wants. It wants close games. It wants, these things coming down to the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter, and so you have to maintain the ability to stay calm, whether it's good times, bad times. But there's definitely something that I do believe that you can capture momentum and have big swings, whether it's, we call it doubling up, right? You take the 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, you go down, you score a touchdown, and then you come out in the second half, you get the ball, you can come out and go get another touchdown. I mean, those are huge swings that impact games. Special teams, blocked punts, kick returns. Obviously we're blessed to have a guy like Terp. Those are things that you need to, when you have those things, it definitely gives you a boost of energy and momentum.
John.
Jerry had said this a couple of weeks ago, and now you have repeated it, that you got some guys coming back. Is Mr. Diggs somebody that is progressing where you might see him in September?
Yeah, I think, again, he's one of those guys that's doing a really good job, but I hope and believe that it won't just be Trayvon. But, yeah, Trayvon's doing a great job, and hopefully he's one of those guys.
Good?
Good? Thank you, guys.